Nisambula. We've gone through the formal part. The chairperson of UN CEDAW committee, Nala Haidar. Good morning. A very good morning to you. And yes, it's still a warm Fiji welcome. Prime Minister of Tuvalu, Right Honorable Feleti, Teo, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Prime Minister of Fiji, distinguished delegates from Fiji and the Pacific, Your Excellencies, always good to see you, all smiling. I knew you were not smiling when it threatened to rain. But as we enjoy ourselves, we also remember those in the Pacific who are suffering the effects of earthquakes and in the Asia region. And we pray with them. And we hope that their ladies, their women are well looked after in these times of trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, Sambul Winaka, welcome to Fiji. I thank the chair lady for a very short video recording she made, which allowed me to learn the proper pronunciation of her name. It's a great privilege for Fiji to host this very important session of the Pacific Technical Cooperation Session of the Committee of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW. This gathering brings together leaders, policymakers, and advocates who are committed to advancing gender equality across the Pacific and beyond. I extend a very warm welcome to esteemed members of the CEDAW Committee, including its distinguished chairperson, Ms. Nala Haidar. Once again, marhaba. Your dedication to upholding the principles of the convention is deeply appreciated, as your leadership is invaluable in this global effort. Those who had difficulties hearing her, now you won't have any difficulty. I'm coming out very loud to you. Fiji is a nation that values the principles of human rights, dignity, and social justice. We recognize the importance of CEDAW Convention as a guiding framework in our collective journey to eliminate discrimination against women and foster a more inclusive society. Hosting this session is a significant moment for Fiji and for the Pacific region, offering us an opportunity to address shared challenges and explore durable solutions. It is in this context that we reaffirm the vision and commitments enshrined in the revitalized Pacific Leaders Gender Equality Declaration. This declaration underscores our collective resolve to eliminate barriers to gender equality and to empower women and girls across all areas of life. It challenges us to tackle inequality at its roots, to strengthen regional collaboration, and to ensure that progress is sustained and measurable. This session is a testament to our shared determination to honor those commitments and advance the principles of the Declaration. This gathering is a call to action for governments, civil societies, and regional institutions to work collaboratively toward meaningful progress. It reminds us that our commitment under both the CEDAW Convention and the Declaration must translate into tangible outcomes that enhance the lives of women and girls across the Pacific. I must acknowledge that women play a very strong role in our cultural context. They are the archives of traditional repository that has held communities together in such remote and maritime islands in the Pacific. Our mothers and grandmothers have not only been nurturers, but also have always contributed to the non-traditional roles of fishing and farming and have pushed barriers over the years. Today, they also qualified aircraft engineers, pilots, in shipping, construction workers, they are plumbers, electricians, among others. They're no longer confined to the homes and the kitchen, and we are proud of that. Since the previous reporting period, Fiji has demonstrated noteworthy advancement. The government has concentrated its efforts on enhancing access to justice services, as well as expanding educational and training opportunities for women. Just as an aside, Chair Lady, when trouble broke out again in the Middle East, one of our paramount ladies in the audience today was stranded there in Israel. We had to send a Fiji Airways aircraft to evacuate those from Fiji who had gone for the Feast of Tabernacles. That flight, madam, was captained by a lady pilot from Fiji. We acknowledge that young lady. We also acknowledge the High Chief, the Paramount Chief of Murmasanga, who is here with us, Rambal Narokutundaketi, who was with that group. We also acknowledge Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Civil Aviation for arranging that evacuation or extraction flight in a very short time. This strategic focus, madam, and distinguished delegates, underscores the recognition of the vital role of equipping women with skills and knowledge to excel in the workforce in the countries of the Pacific. More women than men are graduating from universities across specialized fields, promising prospects for their future. There has been a significant increase in the participation of women in industries traditionally dominated by men, such as I mentioned, construction industry, engineering, the military, and technology. I'm proud to have been the first commander that allowed women to enter the Army and enlist into the Army. The Bill of Rights that was introduced in 1997 Constitution and retained in the 2013 Constitution reinforced human rights for all Fijians and strengthens government's commitment as a signatory to several human rights treaties, starting with the 9 core conventions. These have been lenses that have guided the government work on legislative reforms, policies, and programs. Fiji's National Gender Policy and National Development Plan, NDP, outline a strong commitment to advancing gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. The NDP identifies strategic priorities aimed at fostering women's economic development, eliminating violence against women, increasing women's participation in political leadership and national decision-making, and promoting their inclusion in non-traditional sectors. To support these priorities, Fiji has introduced the Gender Transformative Institutional Capacity Development, ICD, initiative. This initiative aims to build the capacity of government agencies to integrate the needs, the interests, and the contribution of women and girls into their policies, into their strategies and plans and resourcing. Complementing this effort is the Gender Responsive Planning and Bridging initiative, developed in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance. Together, these initiatives establish structure and mechanisms across the government to ensure gender-responsive approaches, including the application of gender analysis within the national budget process. The Fiji government is committed to strengthening implementation of the institutional capacity development and gender-responsive planning and budgeting initiatives. In launching the National Action Plan to prevent violence against women and girls, NAP, PVAWG, don't try to remember that, in 2023, and for the first time, the government introduced a gender-based violence, GBV again. Just remember what we're here trying to do, okay? The budget line in national budget. This was allocated to a number of ministries and included the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, the Ministry of Tokay Affairs, Ministry of Youth and Sports, and the Ministry of Women, Children, and Social Protection. And we are honored to have the minister responsible here with us this morning. The forthcoming Fiji Women's Economic Empowerment National Action Plan, another acronym, I won't say it. You can work it out. Women Economic Empowerment National Action Plan. Very useful in the afternoon, WENAP. Will serve as a roadmap for advancing tangible outcomes for Fijian women and girls. The vision of WENAP is for women and girls to achieve full and equitable economic empowerment with greater participation, leadership, agency, and access to resources supported by inclusive policies and safe, enabling environment. I acknowledge that Fiji has challenges in implementing some of these aspects of the convention, but women continue to face challenges such as the high incidence of gender-based violence, including technology-facilitated gender-based violence. We are also faced with increasing number of HIV/AIDS and drugs cases. For enforcement and services agencies, this is largely a matter of implementation, tracking, evaluating, and learning. Increasing women's representation in political and decision-making roles also remains work in progress. This specific issue makes me wonder at times, as the percentage of women in population is approximately the same as for men. Why are women not securing the votes of women? Or more precisely, why aren't women voting for women? And this brings me to a related issue, that of tokenism. Our aim is to elevate and uphold the dignity of women at the highest level of national governance. Putting in women for the sake of mere numbers devalues that noble goal. I'm also aware that rights are not exactly value neutral, that they are largely interest-driven. Rights come with responsibilities. This is the area where Fiji and our fellow Pacific family are struggling. The sense of entitlement and demands for rights over what is right for the group, for society, is pushing these small economies to all sorts of challenges. Further, as you deliberate, it is important not to lose sight of the context of the Pacific, that women and girls exist not in isolation. How might the rights of individuals sit snugly with group rights under UN DRIP? Fiji and almost all Pacific Island states' land ownership system is very much a traditional system. We look at ownership, accessibility, and exploitation. Our expectation is that your session will inform specific solutions in those respects. In some areas, matrilineal systems are the norm. It is okay to take that right, that authority from women have they shared or given over to their male families' relations. Is it right? I therefore ask our women to be ready to take on community leadership roles that your male family relatives have been shouldering this far. Today, Fiji and some Pacific Island neighbors are experiencing the direct consequences of the dismantling of their traditional and social systems. Order and respect in the family and community are fast disappearing. The drug menace and HIV/AIDS situation we're in is seen as one of the direct results of individual rights over familial, spiritual, and communal values. Law enforcement agencies are struggling to cope. Many say that the push for individual rights over group rights, of what is moral and ethical, are to blame. Whatever it is, current and emerging situations in our region need open and honest conversation and cooperation to solve them. At the regional level, the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent sees the Pacific way of life, as integral to the dignity, the security, and future of these islands. In our outlook for the Pacific and the Ocean of Peace, as the Ocean of Peace, the Pacific Way is fundamental to who we are, how we want the world to see us. We uphold international law, and we call for respect for our sovereignty and our values. As you immerse yourselves in the important agenda that you have, please consider how you might contribute to what the Pacific leaders see for this region, a region of peace and prosperity, where the people live dignified and worthwhile lives. We look forward to your wisdom to help uphold the Pacific's rightful place in the world, where its people, their dignity, their sovereignty, and way of life are valued. The Pacific Islands are young, recently independent states, allowing them to complete their transition and, importantly, assisting them to reach maturity is critical to getting there with dignity. This is a fundamental component of the intention of leaving no one behind. The evolution of our systems and process to embrace a state of strategic equilibrium is key to providing the kind of platform to progressing the implementation of human rights goals in our region. As we celebrate progress, the Fiji government is committed to strengthening and supporting the national women's machinery in its efforts to progress the whole of nation implementation for gender agenda. In sum, and to end, journey toward gender equality is not entirely a matter for women. It is a shared responsibility for all of us. It must be weaved into and informed by our government, by our governance and traditional systems, spirituality, and our way of life. As men, talking to the men now, we have a critical role to play in fostering a society where women are treated with respect, with dignity, and fairness that they deserve. We must challenge the harmful stereotypes, denounce violence and discrimination, and actively work to create safe and empowering environments for our women. By standing as allies, we contribute not only to the advancement of women, but also to the strengthening of our families, of our communities, of our nations, and of our region. Let us lead by example, demonstrating stern commitment and together build a future that finds its basis in justice for all. I wish you a very productive session and look forward to constructive outcomes that will help shape the way for equitable and equal future in the Pacific. Now, Dhanyavad.